Hello, good afternoon. So, I just wanted to come to you all really quick. Number one, church was amazing today, but I'm going to talk about that on another day in a post I probably write. Well, tomorrow. But right now, I just had to hop on here because I took this book to dinner with me. And when I'm doing my solo dinners, I will sometimes take a book to read or my agenda, my planner, my journal, and I would just do a number of things while I'm at the table, just enjoying my atmosphere, the people around me, blah, 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 blah. But today I went to eat and I took this book, Basic Training, A Believer's Guide to Spiritual Battle by Kim Freeman. And now, anybody knows me knows I'm reading a multitude of things at one time. One day I'm reading this, one day I'm reading this. I read whatever I want to read whenever I want to read it. I think that's the beauty about books. Like, I don't have to sit and complete. So the book I'm reading the other day that I told y'all, I'm still reading that one. But today, and that's the momento, is this one. So, moving on. I decided I wanted to talk with you all about, I wanted to share with you a strategy that I was learning while I was reading this. And that strategy came from the story about Hezekiah. So the first chapter of this book, which is what I was reading at the restaurant, is called Cutting Off the Enemy Supply. Oh, it's called Cut Off the Enemy Supply Lines. Principle number 1. And when I was reading it, I'm going to just jump right to the topics that popped out to me. And then my mind started thinking beyond the parts that I was reading. And it was talking about, instead of fighting immediately, instead of reacting immediately to warfare, the minute Hezekiah found out that there was an enemy that was coming for him, he did the following. Number 1, he saw and observed them. He observed. He didn't immediately react. And number 2, he sought help. He consulted with wise counsel, the officials, and his military staff. So not just the officials only, but the whole military staff he brought in. Like, listen, we need to talk. We need to strategize. And he got help from them. So you can't be afraid to ask for help and to ask for wisdom when you are under attack. That means, and when I say spiritual warfare is everything. For a believer, I don't care if somebody talk to you crazy in a grocery store. You technically still under spiritual warfare of some sort. Like, there's a million tests that you're getting every day that you have to pass. There's a million ways that the enemy is trying to test you, whether it be small or whether it be large. So you're going through things on your job, or you're going through things in your home, or anything like that. Those are forms of spiritual warfare that manifest in the physical, right? Okay, so, but you can't be afraid to seek wise counsel when you are dealing with spiritual warfare, so that you're not the only one thinking haphazardly, and you're thinking under pressure, you're thinking in panic, you're thinking out of desperation, and you're making moves. So again, he consulted, he observed, then he consulted, and then the next thing was he blocked their energy supply, which was he cut off the water. Let me tell you something. Back in the day, you ain't really had no coke in the smile, okay? If I cut off your water supply on your way to fight me, baby, you just gonna be tired, and I'm gonna win just because you exhausted by way of that. When this applies in the spiritual to us now today, whatever means the enemy is using to come for you, cut that mess off. If you on social media battling back and forth, cut that, block that, shut that down, cut it off, take a consecration, whatever break that you need, whatever that median is that they're doing, you need to cut off their source, okay? If somebody is coming to you with a bunch of mess, you can just cut that person off respectfully, okay? You may need to cut a relationship off. You may need to do a manner of things to get yourself into a position where you are disarming the enemy without touching them. You do not need to be fighting and cursing and retaliating, anything like that. And when I say you, I mean you as the people of God, like us, we, because I was reading this as well, because currently I am in spiritual warfare as 90%. I mean, who ain't really? But I'm in some big time spiritual warfare here. So any strategies are helpful to me. And reading this book was just a blessing. So I'm not sharing this. I am a life coach, but I'm not sharing this in a coaching way. I'm sharing this just because I felt like these strategies were helpful for insight, and that we all could use this practice going into the upcoming week. So you're like, okay, well, ask for help. What does that mean? But hold on, just wait for it. Wait for it. So not only did he block the enemy supply, instead of fighting the enemy, he cut off their means to him. Okay. And then after that, he reinforced strength. Now, before I get to the reinforced strength, let me give you another example. If I could see my enemy coming down the road, if they're driving a car and they're on their way to me, I could see them miles away. If I snipe them wheels out just for a little bit, I disarm the car. You can't even come for me. When the people of the people of Israel were fleeing Egypt and they were walking through the sea that the Lord had parted through Moses' actions and things like that. When they came, the first thing that happened before the enemy was drowned in the sea was that the chariots was all broke up from the wind. God literally disarmed the very means of transport they were using to get to their target. So disarm your enemy. Okay, so I don't know who that's for. I'm gonna take that. So you take that if it helps you. But this is the part that I loved. This is Hezekiah. He reinforced strength by building his walls. Whose walls? Their walls, the city walls, the people's walls, not the enemy. Sometimes, and this is what I'm saying, this is not no revelation to a lot of y'all. This is just like a reminder. But to some people, this may be revelation. So for me, it's a great mix. A lot of the time when we are in spiritual warfare, we think what the enemy should be doing, what the enemy should not be doing, what the enemy, where their weaknesses are, and all these things that are wrong with them, and we turn our focus to them. But Hezekiah turned his focus inward. And when I'm talking about this is where the book was talking about the building the broken sections. Building the broken sections. He reinforced strength by building his walls and all the broken sections. What is broken in you that you need to focus on rebuilding? And you may be watching this thinking the same thing that I would think when I'm in the heat of some sort of spiritual warfare and some joker that ticked me off. First of all, don't worry about me, okay? Check yourself, okay? But coming out of the flesh, when you think about the enemy coming for you, they're coming for your weakness and your vulnerabilities. They're coming for those broken places. They're looking for a way in. They can't get to your walls unless there's a way that they can breach. A hacker gets a weakness so they can breach. They get a way in, okay? A robber may look for a way that they can breach what is not as secure, and that is the means that I'm going to get in and destroy or take, okay? Or kill. I say this to say that a lot of the time when we're looking at our enemy, we are so open, we are so vulnerable, we are so unhealed in areas, and we have a lot of inner work to do. And when we turn our focus from our enemy back to us and say, you know what do I need to strengthen? What do I need to reinforce? What is broken in me that I need God to mend? Instead of focusing on the enemy and fighting them, let me focus on bettering myself. The battle gonna be done by the time. The battle is gonna be done. If your enemy doesn't have a mode to you, if your enemy doesn't have the energy to get to you, if the enemy doesn't have a way to breach you, what can the enemy do to you? Baby, hold on. So then it moved on, and I put forward continue because I was just journaling. This is these are just my thoughts. I was thinking past what I was reading. And because it just inspired me so much. The last thing that I want to talk about what Hezekiah did was he looked not for the vulnerabilities in his enemy, but he looked for the ones that he had in himself. But why? So we were still talking about that, right? But why? Because a lot, and this is what the book was talking about, a lot of the vulnerabilities that a person of God has are where sin is. Sin is always a vulnerability. And we may be thinking, well, the person at work don't know where I'm sinning. The person at church don't know what my private sin is. But the enemy that's working in that person is fully aware of what you need to work on and where your walls are not mended, where you are not healed, where you are broken, where you are messed up, where you are needing security through Christ. And so we have to realize that the weapons these are not carnal. This is not a carnal fight that we have. The enemy within anything that you're going through on earth knows your strengths and your weaknesses. So I love the part that it said he made adjustments. He looked for the broken things that he had in himself, or that he had, or that the people had, where he needed to mend things. He looked for ways that the enemy could try to exploit them, and then he made adjustments. Baby, take this energy off your enemy and make adjustments in your life. Make adjustments in your spirit. Make adjustments in your heart. Make adjustments in your thinking. And the fight gonna be won for you. What can the enemy do to you? But now let's get to it. Why was sin important to adjust? Because the book said, and let me go back in this part because I love this part. I loved a lot of parts about chapter 1, but I love this part. It said that in Deuteronomy 23 verses 9 and 14, that it said, for the Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you. Hold on. The Lord your God walks in the midst of your camp to deliver you and to give up your enemies before you. Therefore shall your camp be holy, that he may see nothing indecent among you and turn away or retreat from you. That God won't turn away or retreat from you. When we are in sin, and the Bible says countless times that the Lord does not dwell in unclean places. Now he will help you get about them mugs, but he ain't about to just be chilling with you in them mugs. You have to transform. God's power is transformative in our life. It must be transformative in our life. And so if we have sin in us and that causes a vulnerability, then God, who can't dwell in sin, can't walk in the midst of your camp to deliver you and give up your enemies to you. So sin is keeping the presence of God from you, and that is your weakness to the attack of the enemy. That's why we got to focus on us. Because baby, let me tell you something. I got some people that I won't even say are my enemies. Very few, because I don't start mess. But I would say that little foxes be stirring up stuff sometimes. I don't say that they're my enemies, but they may call themselves enemy of the mission that I'm pursuing with God, or whatever the situation is with that. And when you come up under attack with somebody that don't like you, or whatever that is, you can literally be so focused on what they're doing that you miss checking yourself. Me and my friend were taking a lunch at the beginning of this last week. I can't remember when. And we were just talking about all the things that, we were talking about a lot of deep things, but things that we need to be mindful of to check. And check within ourselves so that God can bless us. So I won't be long-winded other than what I've already told you. This is a time to not focus on who's coming for you. This is a time to focus on what we need to reinforce, the places that we need to build, the things that we need to be more submissive to God in, and the sin we need to get rid of. That is the entryway of the enemy. You could check your enemy day and night. You could tell them what they need to be doing. You could go back and forth with anybody. Don't do that. Don't do that. Number one, that's a petty life to live, period. But number two, we as people of God, we don't have the time and energy for that, because holiness, it should be our goal. Holiness should be our goal. And if holiness is not our goal, and we are focused on what the mess is that they stirring up abroad, then we're going to continue to have those weaknesses and be able to be breached. So I love this. Basic training by Kim Freeman. Believer's Guide to Spiritual Battle. I don't know. I'm ready for the next one. The next chapter.